Hello, I welcome you once again to Knowledge TVG Age. Today we are going to take a look at the process of diffusion. We are going to demonstrate how diffusion occurs. But before we go to the practical, we are going to take a look at the theory aspect first. We will briefly define diffusion and take a look at the factors that affect the rate of diffusion and some examples of diffusion in everyday life. When we are talking about diffusion, there are some key words that you must take note of. This molecules, particles, and substances. They are the key words that can be used interchangeably. So if you want to define diffusion, you can either use any one of them to define the term diffusion. So when somebody uses molecule, another person will also use particle, and somebody also use substances, you're all talking about the same thing. So when we say diffusion, it is the movement of molecules into bracket particles or substances. Don't forget, we said you can use these three words interchangeably. So it is the movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration until the molecules are evenly distributed. Diffusion. So we are saying factors that affect the rate of diffusion. We are saying there are things that will make diffusion to occur. So the first factor here we are talking about concentration gradient, the molecule size, state of matter, temperature, distance, stirring, and shaking. In practicals, we are going to see how all these factors affect how diffusion occurs. But you know, diffusion can occur in gases and liquid. That's why we say state of matter. When we say state of matter, is a matter a liquid or a gas? And you know, diffusion occurs in gases faster than in liquid. Okay, so when we take concentration gradient, how dense or how more the solid is. If it is small, the rate of diffusion will not be fast. But if it is small, the rate of diffusion will be faster. And we say the size of molecule. When the molecule size is very big, it will not occur at a faster rate. But when the molecule size is very small, you see the rate of diffusion occurring faster. And we already talked about state of matter. When we take a temperature, say when temperature increases, the rate of diffusion also increases. So if you are conducting an experiment and you want the experiment to move faster, you increase heat or you introduce heat and your experiment will move faster. Distance also affects the rate of diffusion. When the distance between the water and the solid in the water, if it is not wide or lengthy, you will see the rate of diffusion moving fast. If the solid is at the bottom, you will see that the rate of diffusion or how diffusion will be occurring, it will be faster coming up compared to another. Let's say when you pour water into a beaker, and very big beaker and tall, and a small beaker is not tall. You compare how diffusion will be occurring in these two, you will see that the one with tall and very big, if you compare the rate of diffusion, you will see that it will be less compared to the one that is very small. So stirring, when you stir it, you will see that it will occur faster. Once it is occurring slowly and you begin to stir, once you begin to stir, you will see it moving faster. One other factor is shaking. When you shake it, it will occur at a faster rate. So these are the factors that affect the rate of diffusion. So we are going to take a look at examples of diffusion in everyday life. So the first one here is scent of perfume on a person's body. When somebody entered a room and it happened that you're also in the same room, all of a sudden you smell the scent on a person's body. You see that the particles or the molecules of the perfume on the person's body have diffused and reached the point at which you are. So the second one is aroma of a food. When somebody is cooking and you smell the scent of the food, or the aroma of the food, then you say that the aroma of that food have diffused and reached you. The third one is scent of onion, or let's say garlic. If you are slicing an onion or garlic, the scent that you smell is also an application or examples of diffusion in everyday life. So the fourth one here is scent of petrol or kerosene. When you smell the scent of petrol or kerosene, then this one is also an application or example of diffusion in everyday life. So now we finished with the theory. So we are going to take a look at the practical aspect of the lesson that we've gone through now. Hello, good afternoon. I welcome you once again to Knowledge TV GH. Today we are going to demonstrate diffusion in liquid. So as you can see, the students are here. They are going to carry out the process. So we have potassium permanganate here. That's what they're going to use. They have beakers and they have water. So follow us as we carry out the process. So have filled the beakers with water. So after filling the beakers with water, the next step is that you gently drop potassium permanganate crystal into one corner of the beakers. Okay, so after putting the potassium permanganate crystal into a beaker containing water, so the next thing is observe the changes that occur. So when you observe, you will see that the potassium permanganate crystal begin to diffuse in the water. So when it happens like that, factors that influence the rate, you need to apply them, and you see the reality of the factors, the way they influence the diffusion. So here, one factor we know is stirring. So you are going to stir and see the change that will occur. And you also shake and see the change that will occur. So begin to stir gently and observe the changes that will be occurring. Okay, so after stirring, leave it down. So you can also So after all, we are going to observe what's happened or the changes in the beakers pertaining to those that you shake and those that you stir, and the one that you didn't stir, the one that you didn't shake. You are going to observe the difference between them. So tell us your observation.
I have observed that the rate of the diffusion of the one that we shake and the one that we stir is faster than the one that we do not touch.
You observe that the rate of diffusion is faster than the one we did not shake nor stir.
This confirms that stirring and shaking are also factors that affect the rate of diffusion.
Now we are done with the experiment. So the next thing is that you need to discard the content. So from here, make sure you discard the content immediately. So remember to subscribe to the channel Knowledge TV GH, because Knowledge TV GH, all we do is that we teach, we learn.